You know the feeling. You sent a text 3 hours ago. You can see they've been online. They posted a story. They're active. But your message? Still sitting there, unread. Or worse, read, but ignored. And here's what you do, you make excuses for them. They're probably busy. They're going through something. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe I should send a follow-up. So you do. You send another message. You ask if they want to hang out this weekend. You put in the effort, again, because that's what you always do. And deep down, you already know what's happening. But admitting it? That's the part you're not ready for. Let's talk about why you keep chasing people who won't choose you, and what that pattern is really costing you. The overgiving trap. Here's the lie you've been believing: if you just do more, give more, show up more consistently, they'll finally see your value. They'll realize what they have. They'll start matching your energy. But that's not how it works. When you overgive, you don't increase your value in someone's eyes. You actually decrease it. Not because you're not valuable, you absolutely are, but because human psychology is weird. We tend to devalue what comes too easily and chase what feels just out of reach. So the more you pursue, the more they pull back. The more available you are, the less interested they become. And you're sitting there wondering what you did wrong, when the problem was never about doing more. It was about doing it for someone who wasn't meeting you halfway. Think about it. Have you ever had to chase someone who was genuinely excited about you? No. Because people make time for what matters to them. They text back. They initiate plans. They show up. The harsh truth is this: effort is not a currency that buys affection. You can't earn someone's interest by being more convenient, more available, or more accommodating. Either they want you, or they don't. And when someone wants you, you'll know why you're attracted to unavailability. Now let's get uncomfortable. Why do you keep choosing these people? Because if you're honest, this isn't the first time. There's a pattern here. You're consistently drawn to people who are emotionally unavailable, inconsistent, or just not that into you. This usually comes down to attachment style, specifically, anxious attachment. If you grew up with inconsistent love, with affection that had to be earned or was given unpredictably, your nervous system learned something dangerous. Love is supposed to feel like anxiety. Connection is supposed to feel like chasing. So now, as an adult, when someone is calm, consistent, and available, it feels boring. It doesn't trigger that familiar rush. There's no chase. No drama. No wondering if they like you. And your brain, which associates love with that anxious feeling, interprets their stability as a lack of chemistry. But when someone is hot and cold, when they're interested one day and distant the next, that feels electric. That feels like love. Because it's activating the same patterns you learned in childhood. You're not attracted to them. You're attracted to the familiar feeling of trying to earn someone's love. And here's the hard part: until you recognize this pattern, you'll keep repeating it. You'll keep choosing people who make you feel the way you felt as a kid, uncertain, not quite good enough, always reaching for something just beyond your grasp. Reading the actual signs. Let's talk about the excuses you make for them. They're busy. Sure. Everyone's busy. But busy people still respond. They might say, "Swamped today, let's catch up this weekend." They don't leave you on read for days. They're going through something. Maybe. But people going through hard times usually communicate that. "Hey, I'm dealing with some stuff, can we rain check?" They don't ghost you and then act normal when they need something. They're not good at texting. Okay, but are they bad at texting everyone? Or just you? Because I guarantee they respond to their boss. They respond to people they're interested in. They're not bad at texting, they're bad at prioritizing you. Here's the difference between actually busy and not interested. Actually busy: "I'm slammed this week, but let's do next Tuesday." Not interested: vague responses, no alternative plans, lots of maybe and "we should sometime." Actually busy, initiates when they have time, follows through on plans. Not interested, only responds when you reach out, cancels frequently, doesn't reschedule. The signs are there. You just don't want to see them. Because seeing them means admitting something you don't want to admit. The fantasy you're holding. You're not in love with this person. You're in love with who they could be. You're in love with the version of them that exists in your head, the one who texts back, who's excited to see you, who chooses you consistently. You've had moments where they seemed perfect, right? One great conversation. One night where everything clicked. And you're holding on to that, thinking if you just stick around long enough, that version of them will show up permanently. But that's the fantasy. The reality is the person who leaves you waiting. Who makes you question yourself? Who gives you just enough to keep you hopeful but never enough to feel secure? And breadcrumbing works because of this exact dynamic. They give you crumbs, a late-night text, a random compliment, a vague plan, and your brain lights up. See? They do care. I just need to be patient. But breadcrumbs aren't bread. And intermittent reinforcement, the pattern of occasional rewards, is literally what keeps people hooked on slot machines. It's not love. It's manipulation, intentional or not. You deserve the whole loaf. You deserve someone who's consistently present, not someone who shows up just enough to keep you from leaving. The 30-day test. Here's an experiment that will tell you everything you need to know. Stop initiating for 30 days. Don't text first. Don't make plans. Don't reach out. Just stop. And watch what happens. If they care, they'll notice. They'll reach out. They'll wonder where you went. They'll initiate. If they don't? If 30 days pass and you hear nothing? That's your answer. You weren't important enough for them to notice your absence. You were just convenient when you were there. I know that's harsh. I know it hurts to think about. But isn't it better to know now than to waste another 6 months, another year, chasing someone who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared? This test isn't about playing games. It's about seeing clearly. It's about letting reality show you what you've been avoiding. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to want to break. You're going to want to text them, just to ease the anxiety. But that anxiety? That's the addiction talking. Sit with it. Feel it. Let it pass. Redirecting your energy. Here's what changes everything. The energy you're pouring into someone who doesn't reciprocate could be going toward people who actually see you. Think about the friends you've been neglecting because you're always available for this person who's never available for you. Think about the hobbies you've dropped. The opportunities you've missed. The time you've spent analyzing their texts instead of building your own life. What if you took all of that, the effort, the attention, the care, and directed it toward people who meet you halfway? People who text back. Who make plans and keep them. Who are excited about you, not indifferent. Those people exist. But you won't find them while you're still giving all your energy to someone who doesn't value it. Start small. Reach out to an old friend. Say yes to an invitation you'd normally decline because you're waiting to see if they are free. Reclaiming your worth. Let me ask you something. Why do you accept less than you deserve? Is it because you don't think you deserve better? Is it because being alone feels sparier than being with someone who barely sees you? Is it because you'd rather have the crumbs than nothing at all? Your worth isn't determined by someone else's inability to recognize it. Someone's lack of interest in you doesn't mean you're not interesting. It means they're not your person. And I know you know this intellectually. But emotionally? You're still there. Still checking your phone. Still hoping today's the day they'll change. They won't. Not because you're not enough, but because people don't change for people they're lukewarm about. They change for people they can't imagine losing. So the question isn't how do I make them choose me? The question is why am I still choosing them? 7 to 7:20 closing. Stop chasing people who don't choose you. Not because you're giving up, but because you're choosing yourself instead. You're allowed to want someone who wants you back. You're allowed to expect reciprocity. You're allowed to walk away from people who make you feel like you're too much and not enough at the same time. Let them go. Not with anger, not with drama, just with quiet clarity. And watch what happens when you stop shrinking yourself for people who never had room for you anyway. You deserve to be someone's priority, not their option. Start believing that. Start acting like it. The right people will match your energy. And the wrong ones? Let them miss you from a distance.